November. Okay, I started off with Unfair Flips, a game where you flip a coin in the hopes that you can get heads 10 times in a row. What makes it tough is that at the start, there is only a 20% chance that it lands on heads. Every time it does come up in your favor though, you get a bit of money which can be spent on various upgrades ranging from increasing the probability of it landing on heads to speeding up how quickly you can flip. Pretty much it is just a clicker game, but where most clicker games continuously expand, this one has a ceiling, and once you hit it, you just have to wait until the flips happen. Honestly, I played it because I wanted to use a clip of it for a point I was making in one of my main channel videos, and then once I started, I felt compelled to finish it. I don't know, it is what it is, and not much more. It does have some fun writing in it, although I don't want to overstate that too much as it certainly is not anything extensive. But it lightly explores the connection between human nature and probability in a way I found to be funny. Truly, it is a game that is pretty much exactly what it says it is. Do not go into it expecting to be surprised or to find much mechanical depth. Just expect to flip a coin for a while. While I am glad there are goofy games like this out there, and I'm glad I played it, you probably would have the most fun just watching Northern Lion play it. But that is true for most games. After that, I began playing Kingdom Come Deliverance. I've not gotten that deep into the game, only clocking around 10 hours, but I have thoroughly enjoyed my time with it so far. In a lot of my main channel videos, I've pitched ideas and mechanics that would be cool to see in open world games, and in some ways, Deliverance is kind of the game I have always been pitching. And that's especially true because I decided to play on hardcore, which I don't know yet if this was a mistake or not. I'm sure I will have a better idea by the end, but so far at least I have appreciated the extra friction it brings. It has really pushed me to pay attention to my surroundings as the guidance systems are so limited. This makes the already vast world feel even bigger, and instead of just being a space you pass through, it becomes one you really need to consider. The combat has some really neat aspects to it that makes it far more engaging than any other melee-focused first-person open-world game I can think of, although I very much am still at the point where if I run into more than one enemy, I pretty much stand no chance. I'm sure this will get better as I unlock more abilities and just generally get more comfortable with it. However, it has already led to me resorting to cheesing some enemies, which is not ideal. One thing I've really appreciated about the early game is just how much money actually feels like it matters, and also how difficult it is to get. This has gotten me to do stuff like hunt for animals in order to get some extra coin, and I love when engaging with these broader systems feels worth it. Honestly, when it almost feels necessary. It all makes it feel true to the open world idea. Unfortunately, due to being pretty busy with work on the main channel as well as wanting to check out a few shorter games, I have put Deliverance on the back burner, and now that thing has happened where even though I want to play it, I have been away long enough where starting it back up feels daunting, and I'm unsure if I should pick up where I left off or just start the whole thing over again. I will say the intro definitely was my least favorite part of what I've played, so I probably need to just deal with floundering from where I'm at for a little while. I really hope I do that sooner rather than later, as there is so much here that I vibe with, and its world has appealed to me in a way that pretty much only Cyberpunk 2077's has, which in my eyes is very good company. One of those shorter games I checked out was Goodnight Universe, a narrative-based game developed by a handful of the folks who made Before Your Eyes, which is a title I really love. Like Before Your Eyes, it utilizes the webcam as a controller, and instead of just being centered around blinking, it adds in a few other interactions like smiling, frowning, turning your head, and simply closing your eyes. The premise is that you're a baby with psychic powers, and these various inputs allow you to use those powers as well as express how the baby feels. There is a novelty to this that's fun, but where the story of Before Your Eyes perfectly aligned with the mechanic of blinking to move time forward, that same relationship between narrative and player input doesn't really exist here. Frankly, it feels more like a gimmick than anything else, and sometimes just was super awkward. Like smiling or frowning to get the baby to laugh or cry feels weird. Not that it really matters, but whenever I was given the choice to smile or frown, I always smiled because it felt so unnatural to overdramatically frown. In general, a lot of these mechanics are used so infrequently that it feels as if the developers included them because they sounded like good ideas, but never found all that compelling of ways to incorporate them. And this just feels like a huge step backwards from Before Your Eyes, which uses the blink mechanic to its fullest extent. Maybe if it was more common for me to break into a smile or frown when playing something, it would work, but I'm usually looking stone-faced forward, so it never really mattered. It had to be a choice, where the blinks in before your eyes were involuntary, and they used that to their advantage. The disconnect between controls and story might have been ignorable if the story was really spectacular, but I ended up finding it to be just okay. It's not bad, and as a parent I found myself moved by certain moments that maybe didn't earn it but landed because I was thinking about my own kids. However, in a lot of ways it feels clumsy and far too saccharine. That's not to say there's nothing of value in it, but it sometimes felt like the game was saying I should feel something instead of making me feel something. The production value of it is spectacular. The music, art style, and voice acting add a lot to the overall experience, but it's not enough to make it stand out. Ultimately, it is a pleasant game to play. It's just one that I don't think lives up to its potential. If you have never played Before Your Eyes and are looking to try a webcam-controlled game, I would easily suggest that over Goodnight Universe. If you have played Before Your Eyes, I do think there's some stuff you'll enjoy here, but don't expect it to hit as hard. Lastly, I played Neva, which I actually rented from my local library. This has nothing to do with the game, but I thought this would be a nice reminder of how awesome libraries are and that you should probably check out if yours has games too. I'd almost guarantee it does. And some of them have pretty good games. My goal is to get Outer Wilds in every single library near me. Anyway, Neva is a game that places spectacle at the forefront. Its stunning visuals seem designed to arrest you at every turn. Its somber music makes it nearly impossible to not have some mixture of sadness and joy well up inside of you, and its elegant animations make every moment feel important. While games are always a combination of all sorts of elements that work together to bring each other up, the aesthetics do a lot of the heavy lifting here. Now, that's not to say the gameplay is bad. There's a decent bit of interesting platforming, and the combat, while simple, has enough there to make each fight engaging. At first, I worried that fighting would get stale, but the encounter design as well as the regular implementation of new abilities that force you to always focus on the entire battlefield and not just the enemy in front of you keeps things interesting enough throughout the short runtime. Also, with the attack animations being so slow, you have to think about when it's worth dedicating to a swing, and yeah, it works pretty well. Now, one of my favorite parts of this game is how many quote-unquote pointless mechanics there are. I played this just after releasing the video on my main channel where I talk about being a fan of these types of interactions, so I was a little sad that I got to it late, as I found a bunch of the ones here to shape my experience in notable ways. A major theme of this game is protecting and respecting the natural world, and so whenever I got the opportunity to do those things, I took it, which pulled me in all the more to the spectacle the game presents. All in all, Neva is one of those games that I find myself wanting to call an experience instead of a game, and to be clear, that is not me saying that it is more important than other games. It is just a way to illustrate what to expect when playing it. It is a game about vibes and giving you ways to engage with those vibes, and thankfully, the vibes here are quite strong. That's all I've got. See you next time, unless I decide to stop doing this.